Dealing with photo buyers. The customers who buy your editorial stock photos wear a range of hats, from editors, art directors, professional researchers, to the general public and your neighbors and admirers. Let's examine how you do business with them. Photo buyers. These are the folks you'll be dealing with. And as I'll remind you throughout this course, photo buyers are buyers who are not looking for just any picture, like a customer in a picture frame store who might be looking for a pretty picture to hang up in the den or the living room. These are buyers who need specific pictures. And for example, not any river, for example, the Susquehanna River, and not just the river, but also the river as it flows through the Riverfront Park in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And not any river like the Tallahatchie River in Mississippi, and not the river itself, but the famous Tallahatchie Bridge. Thousands of photo buyers exist in market areas ranging from commercial, that would be advertising, public relations firms, corporations, and so on, to the editorial, and that's the area we're dealing with, the editorial photo buyer. They're at books and magazines and publishing houses. In this course, when I refer to photo buyers, I'll be referring almost exclusively to the editorial photo buyer. They deal with stock photography. Art director, photo buyer, picture editor, designer, photo researcher. They have a lot of labels. Graphics director, photo acquisition director, and photo editor. They're just a few of the titles bestowed on them by publishing houses and magazines. In this course, I refer most often to photo buyers. They usually work out of an office and approve between $2,000 and $22,000 a month in photo purchases. Probably half of them are female, and all of them are very busy. You'll find that photo buyers are interested in photographs, not photography. In other words, you're not going to impress them with fine art photography, but you are going to impress them if you send them the right photo they need. And you'll find, too, that setting up business with a photo buyer is quite easy. It takes just a handshake, in a letter, email, or postal, over the phone, or in person. You'll seldom find the contracts or lengthy legal documents that you often encounter in commercial stock photography. And a visit to a photo buyer's office will bring home to you my adage about picture editors buying pictures they need, not pictures they like. The walls of an editor's cubicle are plastered sometimes with lovely, what I call track A pictures, prints clipped from calendars or signed originals from friends. Now, track B pictures, the kind the editor authorizes a check for, are rarely on the wall. What editors need and what they like are different. Marketing is understanding that difference. Your pictures may have won contests or received awards, but the real judge of a marketable picture is the photo buyer who signs the checks. Now, I want to mention the reliability factor. Always remember that it can take months to build a good reputation for yourself, but only seconds to destroy it. One paradox in the story of creativity in the commercial world is that those who succeed are not necessarily the most talented. Yep, in all creative fields, theater, music, art, dance, talented people abound. However, the world of commerce is a machine, and a machine operates well only if all parts are moving smoothly together. The people who sign the checks will readily admit that talent doesn't head the list when it comes to selecting a new person for a part, an assignment, or a position. History has taught them that the show must go on, and that reliable people make commercial productions a reality. Someone with possible talent who is dependable will probably be selected before the unpredictable genius. Thus, an unwritten law in the world of commercial creativity is the reliability factor. How well would you stack up if a photo buyer were to ask, "Are you available when I want to contact you? Are you honest, prompt, fair, dependable, neat, accurate, courteous, experienced, sharp, articulate, talented?" I place talented at the bottom of the list because that's where most photo buyers will place it. They assume you are talented. Their basic question is, can you deliver the goods when I need them? Because you're talented in photography, you purchase this course. You know your work can easily compete with the pictures you've seen published, but talent will not be your key to success in marketing pictures. You will succeed in direct proportion to the attention you pay to developing and strengthening your reliability factor. There are exceptions to everything, of course. Even with a low reliability factor, some creative people succeed. Witness the temperamental screen idol or the eccentric painter. Usually, though, they are coasting on previously established fame, or they exhibit a unique ability. As a newcomer to the field of photo marketing, your greatest asset will be your ability to establish a solid reliability factor with the markets, that is, the photo editors you begin to deal with. Okay, let's talk about these photo buyers. You will connect with photo buyers in person, by phone, by fax, by email, and even in writing. As an editorial stock photographer who conducts business via email and the mailbox, it's important to express yourself well in your communications with photo buyers. From my ongoing overview of photographer-photo buyer relations here at PhotoSource International, we're at, as you know, www.photosource.com, I've noted that if a breakdown occurs, it's usually because the photographer didn't express himself clearly, whether in text, in person, or by phone. Many photo buyers reach their picture editor post after serving as a text editor, and many continue to do both. So they're often journalism or English majors initially attracted to editing and writing because of their communication skills. In dealing with photo buyers, if you experience a misunderstanding or mix-up in regard to your purchase or payment or assignment or whatever, here's how to handle it. I can give you 4 points here. Give the photo buyer the benefit of the doubt. Despite the harangues we hear from some of our fellow photographers, rarely will you encounter an intentional hustle on the part of a photo buyer. If you're in a dispute with a photo buyer and you're positive the fault is his, well, rest assured that it was probably an honest mistake. We're all entitled to a few of those. Okay, the second one is be firm but not offensive. Consider the photo buyer's self-esteem too. Third is, if you're emotionally upset over a transaction between yourself and a photo buyer, wait a day, that is 24 hours, before you react. And the fourth and final one is photo buyers are continually up against deadlines and will be short with you. Some will offer you a fuse to ignite. Don't be tempted. The newcomer to the field of photo marketing is often amazed and sometimes insulted by the casual approach many photo buyers take in their handling of photographers and photographers' work. To a photographer, a photograph can be like a child, an extension of the soul, a piece of poetry or music. Photo buyers don't have that same reverence for your work that you do. They can't. You may consider your photograph a work of art. To them, it's another piece of work that they have to process. This is not to say they don't admire talent or good photography. They do, most of them. However, to survive in their field, they have to learn to separate their emotional appreciation from their career demands. If you take the same approach with your stock photography, that is, separate and compartmentalize your photography into marketable pictures that will feed your family and not so marketable pictures that will feed your soul, you will be able to suffer the jolts and inconveniences of photo buyers without feeling that they are callous or insensitive. They usually aren't. They're just doing a job, and they're usually doing it very well. Well, how should you contact photo buyers? Well, of course, writing, telephone, or by email. By using the mail to contact photo buyers, you'll have the opportunity to include self-promotional literature. That is what we call sell sheets. And that will serve as an effective reminder to your clients that you exist and that you can produce what photo buyer needs. One excellent way of writing photo buyers is to use postcards. If you have your own postcards printed, you can display one or more of your images when writing a prospective client. Here's a couple of places that we've seen good results from. MWM Dexter, that would be www.mwmdexter.com, and Modern Postcard, www.modernpostcard.com. These are two postcard printers that come highly recommended. Okay, how about the telephone? Phoning can be a bit of a gamble, and it actually should be avoided unless absolutely necessary. The reason for this is simple. When you send a photo buyer a postcard or an email, the photo buyer can read it and see it when time permits. A phone call has to be dealt with then and there, which might be an interruption for the photo buyer. Above all, do not use the phone to find out basic information. If you need to find out the name of a photo buyer, check out the organization's website, or ask the receptionist answering the phone. If you need to call the photo buyer, here's the secret. Before you make the call, study the buyer's needs backwards and forwards. Get the company's editorial calendar of upcoming features, and then make a give list. Decide what you will give the photo buyer. How do her needs match the PSA, that is, your photographic marketing strength areas? You won't be wasting her time when you can say, I'm a bass fisherman, and I have some excellent pictures of bass fishing in Florida, which I understand you'll be covering in your magazine next August. Once you've established contact with the photo buyer and perhaps sold a photograph or two to him, the following kind of call could be appropriate. I regularly vacation in Maine, and I'll be available for assignment when you need to update your files in New England pictures. Now, this call is better avoided. I notice you have continuing need for classroom pictures. My neighbor is a teacher. With a few guidelines from you, I could get the kind of pictures you want. Instead, check the photo buyer's website for submission guidelines. If there are no guidelines on the website, write the photo buyer asking for a copy of the guidelines and enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope, of course. Generally, if the information you want the photo buyer to have, it can be communicated on a postcard, in a letter, or by email. Pick that option instead of calling. Okay, should you email the photo buyer? Well, you bet. However, there are a few things to keep in mind. Emails to info@ or sales@ and similar general addresses are seldom successful unless you're requesting very general information. Often these are auto-response mailboxes and will only send you a boilerplate response. Find out the name and the email address of the person you need to get through to. Okay, and then number 2, spend some time browsing the publisher's website before you email a question. Sometimes the answer is really available on the company's website. Especially look into what they call submission guidelines. Number 3, by the way, I'll give you 8 of these, of whether you should email or not. Spam is the word used to describe inappropriate, unsolicited junk mail. If you have the need to send a large number of emails to photo buyers, always see to it that the option of being taken off your email list is included in the missive. 4, unless you're on a first-name basis with the photo buyer, avoid irony, sarcasm, and other things that could be misunderstood. In addition, rarely rely on the smiley face to cover a dubious statement. That's the parenthesis with 2 dots in it. And number 5, you've probably received emails sprinkled with misspellings, poor phrasing, and cute emoticons, or whatever they're called, or internet abbreviations such as LOL, IOW, and so on. Although this style might be acceptable to friends and family, it won't go over well with business associates, especially new ones that you're contacting. And number 6, be persistent, but also be patient. If you plan to follow up with a prospective photo buyer, allow enough time for your email to arrive and be read. Then consider a courteous follow-up phone call. 7, attachments. Unless you've had ongoing correspondence with the photo buyer, it's not a good idea to send unsolicited attachments. With the proliferation of email viruses, some companies have a policy of refusing email containing any form of attachments. This refusal often is handled automatically by their email gateway software before the message is passed on to the intended recipient. You can work around this problem by uploading photos or text to your web page and giving the URL address to your correspondent. And then number 8, cute jokes, chain letters, urban legends, hoaxes, and computer viruses warnings that you've received from others don't have a place in your business correspondence. So your photos probably feature strong areas of special interest ranging from gardening to sailing. You've contacted a number of potential photo buyers in each of these areas, all of whom would like to know more about you because your photographic interests match their needs. They each maintain an available photographers list in the office. Well, there you have it, a few pointers in dealing with photo buyers. Throughout the course, I'll have more pointers for you about dealing with photo buyers. Here's some of the topics. How to get on the available photographers list. Scanning and photocopying your stock photos. Selling the same photo to multiple buyers. Learning about the central art file. And also learning about the permanent file system. And of course, the great fear beginners in the field of stock photography always ask me about: how to deal with the pirates, that is, the thieves. Well, you'll be happy to know that within the community of editorial stock photo buyers, there really aren't any. Basically, because it wouldn't be profitable for them to steal any photos. Besides, even a mistaken theft could cost them their job. More about this in the upcoming installments. Well, next week I'm going to share with you a recorded conversation I had with a photo researcher. This is the job where a person researches the field and finds specific photos for a publisher usually on a freelance basis. Sometimes they are, of course, staff members of a publishing house. This person's name is Gary Crabb, and he operates out of California. I've known him for many years, and he is also a photographer, so he speaks your language. Look for this interview next week. You'll get some important insights that he has to impart to you.